Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're going to be looking at a Terran vs. Protoss on the map Eclipse between two players that are going to be in ASL this season, and actually very excited me by this matchup specifically, in the qualifiers. So if you watch those qualifier vids, thank you very much for checking those. I know they were really long, but we have up here in the top right, this is Tyson. In my opinion, Tyson's Protoss vs. Terran looked overall the best in the qualifiers. There is a little asterisk there because we had other players that maybe looked unbelievably good in the later game, like Shuttle, like some of the best later game PvT I've seen in a very long time. But it felt to me like, especially if you haven't seen the qualifier match between Tyson and JYJ, he's the one that eliminated JYJ. It's the first season JYJ hasn't been in ASL for a very long time. But Tyson's play was immaculate in that Dominator game. Just really unbelievably well done. And his opponent here, Royal. Royal was the other side of one of Shuttle's best series. Shuttle had really good PvT overall. He had like one bad attack in every game because he's Shuttle. But he had like this unbelievable, awesome game. Again on Dominator. The map gives us really good games. Against Royal. And Royal was able to just like cross every T, dot every I, and bring that home. So that was an awesome series. So now I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? Royal versus Tyson? Yeah, let's go. I'm not normally that much of a fan of Royal's TVP, but yeah, he just played it so well against Shuttle that, like, I guess I have to renew my ideas if he keeps playing like that. Like, I really liked the way that he approached that game, as opposed to some of the more optimization-based games that he's given us in the past, where it feels like he's a little bit outdated because he's trying to eke out every edge, and that doesn't do well against some of the more decisive plays. Anyways, yeah, here we are on Eclipse. We have an offensive gas obviously coming down. This is an older Sim City that's very, very good if you have proxy gates. Basically, Marines can get through here, here, and here, and Zealots can't go anywhere. So the Zealots have to go over here. Sometimes you even build a depot down here so they can only pass through the mineral line, so they basically can't get out. The Marines pop in and out like whack-a-mole, and, just go to town on those Zealots. But it's not really a Zealot rush. He has his gate just in his main base. It's not even a forward gate, so it's like, it's not very threatening. He goes for the offensive gas, and he goes for the Nexus right away, which Royal sees. So from here, you have to kind of look at it at Royal's point of view, and it's like, okay, well, what do we need to do? The gas does need to get taken down. A command center does need to get started, and you either need to make Marines literally nonstop or get a bunker up eventually with at least 3 to 4 Marines out already, because there's already a Zealot and a probe. And 1 Zealot versus 3 Marines, the 3 Marines win with good micro. And with the probe there, though, it actually turns into Protoss' favor, but he kills the probe quickly, and he has 4 Marines and good micro, so it's not a problem. You can see the Zealot takes a ton of damage and does have to back up. I think it's totally fine for Tyson to have tried that. I think if there's like a misclick or anything, you could see this start to get a little bit hairy for Royal, who needs to kind of build up his mineral bank so he can make his factories. Okay, looking up at Tyson's base, just getting the cybernetic score. He's making a couple more Zealots here. And, he actually took some more damage on that Zealot. We didn't see that. I think maybe what he did was he clicked it up to here to retreat, and then the Marines chased, and it got aggroed in and almost died there. So that does make it a little bit more hairy, but a good move to run away because his Marines are not high enough health to fight against like probes plus 2 Zealots, even if one is very badly hurt. So 1 factory on the way. He is making that bunker with just the initial 4 Marines. This is like, it's very well done on both sides. I love seeing games like this where I'm like, I have nothing negative to say. They are both just doing like exactly what they should be doing in theory. And obviously it can be fun to move outside of theory and kind of do some wacky stuff, but like, if you get a really solid foundation to the game, because, sometimes we have these games where it's like, for instance, think of the Shuttle games that we saw during the qualifier, where like, there's a lot of questionable stuff that happens early on, and then it turns into an amazing game, and you're like, but what if the questionable stuff hadn't happened? Here, nothing questionable has happened. This has just been very solid gameplay on both sides. So, Robo coming up. He has that second gas going, so we're definitely going to see, you know, the shuttle speed very quickly here, I would say. Going to get observatory first. So this is maximizing, robo build time. So what you do is you go shuttle, observer, reaver. And that's like a really good way to just kind of be like, okay, the robotics has been making nonstop. You know, we're totally safe on that. Oh, starport. Oh, this is cool. Ooh. This is a cool build. I am really... Oh, I'm getting chills right now. I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with this. So control tower right away definitely points us towards he wants to get a dropship. The thing is, he opened 2 factory, and he's getting academy. Oh my god, I'm actually getting the worst chills right now. I need a blanket. This is... Okay, so one of my favorite builds of all time, and the only game on ArtosisCasts that I watched before I casted, and I told everyone about that, was a fantasy build where he went gasless expansion into 1 starport academy. It was so cool that I was like, I have to cast this on the channel and explain why this is such a cool build. Because fantasy, you know, playing it all is cool. But anyways, this is very similar to that, but it's not a gaseous expand, which means, because it was the offensive gas expand, which banks you more minerals. So he's got the 2 factory, and he's getting the academy, which he just scanned to check, and he's getting a dropship. This is very, very cool. So, like, there are builds where you go 2 factory and you hide a starport near your opponent, so it looks like you're going to do a pressure that looks exactly like this, and the goons all come to the front, and then you drop in the main base with vultures. It's like a very cool, tricky build. This is like a little bit different. This is a few more moving parts in it, because it does have, you know, the comsat very quickly. The observer hasn't seen the starport as of yet. That's why you generally build it on somewhere out on the map, because it's a slightly slower drop, and the observer will scout the starport generally. Now, Tyson didn't actually pull it up. He did miss scouting that. So there's a real potential here for these 4 vultures to do a lot of damage. So see, he's brought this back up. He's watching. He's like, okay, there's a lot of vultures being made. He does have the Reavers, so he shouldn't be too afraid of this push in general. But look at this. He's going to bring up the drop, and he's got these units here, and he's going to push the 3rd base at the same time. So here goes a drop into the natural. So I'm a little bit wacky here with the observing at the moment. Drops 2 into the main base. So 3 kills on these. And a Reaver drop at the same time. So both players going pretty crazy. Oh my god, he misclicked. He clicked on the comsat as opposed to the SCVs there. And it did deal a ton of splash damage to SCVs, but does not end up killing them. If those were probes or drones, a lot would have died, but I've never seen someone click on a comsat and get kills because of that. So I think that was a misclick. Anyways, starting to try to deal with this. He's trying to lay some mines. Laying mines near the Reaver makes sense because it has to either be picked up or target the mine instead of the vulture. So it kind of buys you time, even though it basically never works. Oh, good mine drag into some of those SCVs. The vultures are all cleaned up on the other side of the map. He doesn't have missile turrets here. Oh, he has 1 under there, so that is good. Drops the Reaver out in the natural. Trying to go for some damage. A little bit of a glitch there. Anytime you shoot behind the mineral patches, the odds of a glitch go like exponentially up. In fact, it doesn't really glitch in other locations. And someone's gonna be like, yes, it does. I've seen it. No, it's the Scarab is targeting a unit, and if you can block the unit from getting there, there's actually certain ways you can retreat your units to get the Scarab to not go, but that's not a glitch. That's your opponent kind of like playing well, or well, the thing is, it can be luck based when people don't know what the hell they're doing, but it is a thing. It is a thing. There's ways you can make like single file retreat paths for SCVs where the Scarab, because the back SCV won't be the one that the Scarab targeted, it gets everything in line and the Scarab gets behind all the SCVs and will never reach the front one. Anyways, enough of that crap. We have a little push of just 4 tanks up here. This is an insane game. When do you see 4 tanks and a Marine blindly push across the map at 9 minutes, 30 seconds? Literally never. So I don't know what he's going to get done here because it just feels like this is such a small army. 2 Reavers are crawling slowly across the ground. He's got, what, 8 goons? So he comes up with the 8 goons. If Royal targets the Reavers, That would be really good. It looks like he doesn't. He's not really targeting much of anything here. I think he's just doing something at home. So this does get cleared. He loses 4 goons to kill 5 tanks. And the tanks maybe did like a little bit of damage other than that, but like that, obviously that was not super great for Royal. And I mean, that's, you never see an attack like that, and maybe that's part of why, even though it looked pretty good. If he had targeted down the Reavers, I would have given it to him in a certain way, because the Reavers are more expensive than a tank. So it's like, okay, we're starting to get some real valuable units, but he didn't quite do that. So bit of a mistake, I think. Up on 5 factories right now. 3rd command center on the way. And a bunch of gates coming up. You know, obviously we've had like a lot of drops and counter drops here. Very aggressive game by both sides. Tyson coming in with his double Reaver. Oh, nothing is sieged. So, yeah, gets that first Goliath. Getting the Goliaths is really, really good. And he probably wants to get the turret. Goes after the Goliath first. Okay, there is a Wraith, so there is a... This is going to expire eventually, so it's just about getting as much damage as you can. Okay, he's going to get another tank. Not like the best Reaver drop, but it wasn't terrible either. I can't look at that and say it did nothing. Like, probably value-wise, it was a little bit better for Royal, but he did lose a good amount of mining time and things like that. Royal is on, like, a very, very solid worker count here at 64. Psystorm and Legs on the way here for Tyson. We have a little drop coming in behind the mineral line. Okay, he's going to fly right past. There's not great drop locations left because of the cannons. Like, you can still get a little bit of damage, but this is like, these are very well-placed cannons overall. So, you know, the drops, like, honestly, just getting your opponent's army to focus on this for a moment while you kind of set up. You can see he's setting up right now. Like, okay, very strong defensive position with turret. He's setting up turrets here. So if your opponent is kind of paying attention to this... Oh, there is actually this little angle that doesn't get hit. Nice. So that is a little bit annoying. But yeah, keeping him busy there does allow Royal to kind of get himself into a nice position back at home. Going to start adding some more factories. Do we have a science facility? There's a second armory. There's another factory. I must be... Does he... Because if you're getting the second armory, you should have a science facility start at the same time. Maybe this will be it. No? Am I missing it? Is it, like, floating somewhere? Sometimes you float it for vision. No. He... Right? I'm not missing it, right? Because I think there must have been, like, it didn't make, because what you do is you make the science facility and the second armory at the same time, and then you have your upgrades going. And he made the second armory, and, like, obviously he's got a decent factory count, a good defensive setup, and he's got all the SCVs he needs. So, like, the science facility is what you need right now, and it... Okay, he just started it, so it looks like, yeah, I think it just didn't make when he told it before, so not his fault. Terran players, it's not your fault. Now, we have the Dragoons here, just kind of like shoring in the edges. Has a Psystorm drop coming in and gets like nothing out. That Goliath was a great ad. He would have gotten 2 High Templars out if this Goliath wasn't there. So that actually made a big difference, you know, as far as blocking that coming in. That's painful for Tyson. I think he actually needed that Psystorm drop. This is like... Look, Royal is ahead in supply right now, which you really never want. Tyson is setting up more bases. And we're getting into this position, like, Eclipse plays in kind of a very funny way. So the really natural thing for Protoss to do is take this as a 4th. And I actually like it. Well, no, I like it for the Protoss player when they take this base, because this is actually very tricky to attack. And Terran can't take this as a 4th. Terran actually has to go in this direction. So what you do is, when they go in this direction, you're threatening attacks here. And obviously you can threaten attacks here. This is not as good a lane because it's kind of in between and allows Terran to react more quickly. But what Terran will do is they'll generally set up here and try to push here while holding here. And what you do is you make nexuses down here, and see, he had a probe down there. So what you do is you just expand down here, and suddenly it's like, okay, well, where does Terran focus? And while threatening all those different attacks and making it hard for Terran to attack anything, I feel like that's a really good way to play Eclipse. It's very hard to play against. By the way, air attack on the way. So he is getting ready for a potential carrier switch, which can be really, really strong. Not right now. He would die if he tried right now. But it's so cheap to start getting attack upgrades compared to what they do for you potentially later. Another just blind probe sent down. He should clear that, though. Okay, Tyson is not max right now, but he does have a lot of shuttles. Looking at Royal, he's got 2-2 on the way. He's got a very good factory count with 3 add-ons. Love to see that. Not super well defended in this area, and the Observer sees that, so I wouldn't mind seeing some rotations from Tyson based on that. Like, you can see the entire army is going in this direction because you need to really seriously take this base. And notice how he's taking it right around max supply. This is like a painful lesson for Terran players. If Protoss has their army sitting up here, like the whole thing, and you're not maxed, they will win the game. Like, you basically need to be maxed to take your 4th base on Eclipse most of the time. Obviously, there are scenarios where that isn't the case, but it's just you leave yourself really open to attacks otherwise. It's just with the multiple attack paths, and, you know, like, for instance, if they're sitting up here, the ramp that you're trying to fight up, it gets really dangerous if you don't have high supply before your 4th base. You're spread really thin trying to block everything that can occur. So right now, Royal is sending down 1,000,000 vultures only. And realistically, he may want to actually clear out some of his vulture supply. Sometimes you get a lot of vultures, and realistically what you want to do is over time lose vultures and gain Goliaths and siege tanks. Mostly siege tanks, but some Goliaths as well. It just makes a higher quality max, a stronger max. Really good setup, very good missile turrets. Tyson, he's diving in with the drop specifically, and he does have carriers started, by the way. So this is him trying to be, like, very annoying. He's like, that's a really good SCV split. Notice that he splits them into here, 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 here. So very, very good SCV splits, but that was an expensive drop for Tyson to pull off. Royal, I believe, has an attack timing that's open, and it is probably the only one that's going to open this game. So looking back here, and let's see what he's scanning. Oh yeah, he just scanned it. So he sees that attack, because when they do an attack like that, it's like they're clearing supply. You have to check for carriers because you have to attack immediately. So he's actually got this window, and like I said, this is his one attack window for this game. If he just sat here and remaxed, then the carriers would basically be ready, and suddenly the whole dynamic of the game shifts. So he is attacking up and definitely has an advantage with this attack. Little counterattack here for Tyson. He knows he can't fight this because so much of his supply is sucked up in trying to get the carriers going. So he's going to try to attack here. I feel like he kind of needs to kill this base because he's going to lose at least a couple bases over here is what it looks like to me. This attack from Royal is super, super strong. But he doesn't have that many units over here. His army is really light. Like, he sacked 40 supply down here and started all back up in carriers. So it's like a podunk little garbage army, and it is going to get cleared super, super fast. And if Royal's quick about this, because this army is in the way of the gates, he can kill this Nexus and this Nexus almost instantaneously. Like, if he just sends units, he is going to clear those. Now, look at all the SCVs he's bringing up. This should be for missile turrets. Like, I mean, I guess he could repair stuff, but it doesn't really make sense. If you just make like 10 missile turrets right now, you're gonna crush. He brings his SCVs. I'm not sure. I think he just kind of clicked them up here, and he's doing something else right now. You know, even using them for vision is somewhat useful. GG is called by Tyson. That was a good game. I felt like they both played very, very well there. I think, like I said, when the drop came in and the Goliath and 2 turrets were standing here and he didn't get any Psystorms with his initial 3 High Templars, that was a little bit painful. If he had gotten some decent economic damage there, I feel like he could have just kind of like taken these bases and maybe traded a little bit. But the fact that Royal got up into this really strong army, and I think Tyson was looking and saying, okay, that army is so efficient. You know, the one thing I'm always talking about with like these speed shuttle type builds where you have like mass High Templar speed shuttle gateway unit, you can't kill an entrenched Terran, especially when they're starting to get that many great upgrades like 2-2, maxed out, high siege chain count, lots of turrets everywhere. You're never going to break it. So he wanted to switch into those carriers. And so that's when he bombed in with the 4 additional shuttles. The first shuttle, again, if it had done well, it might have put him in a position where he could have continually traded and grinded down the game into a very winning position. But since that did nothing, Tyson's deciding to go and get carrier tech prepared and then do like a strong move with the 4 shuttles, getting rid of 40 supply there. It makes sense in a way. It's just Royal blocked it really well, really quickly. Instantly, we heard like 4 or 5 scans. One of them hit the carriers, and he went. Excellent play. You know, I've said some things about Royal and where I've been like, you know, he has an ASL championship. I don't know if he's really going to get another one. He is a great player, but maybe optimizes too much sometimes. I feel like we're watching a very informed Royal. Because normally he's a player, when I cast him, where I'm like, this guy is just a killer TVZ. He's very good at the other matchups, but can be fragile. This game, he was anything but fragile. He was rock solid in this game. This was excellently played by Royal. I'm getting chills right now thinking about it, actually. Like, this was superb. And Tyson is very good at this matchup right now. I feel like he actually made minimal mistakes, and Royal still was able to dismantle him. Man, what a game this was. Seriously. The dropship and everything, like the 2-factory, Academy, Starport. Oh, man. I want to see real quick if he saw the robo go up. So he ran away there. Tried to get back up. Couldn't get back up. Squeezed through. He did see the robo. Okay, see, he saw the robo. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, this build looks so good. But if they go DT, you insta-lose. So he saw that robo. And that's what made him go for Starport Academy. As opposed to... if otherwise, it might have been like Academy Armory. It might have been... you know, eBay. It could have been eBay Starport. It's a possibility. But yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome game. This is making me even more excited for the ASL season. I hope you guys are as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.